Welcome back, awesome Ashley fans and subscribers. I'm so excited and happy to have my Revenant Laurel come in the post today, so I'm reviewing that, obviously. If you saw my very brief, under 3-minute mini toy haul video, set of videos, well, I just showed this. I first saw this 2 years ago in Hong Kong anime and computer game show, in Hong Kong, obviously. In a grey plastic prototype format, looked really cool. I saw that with Dan Reborns. If any of you guys on the Acid Rain World Singapore page on Facebook, he's one of the admin there. He actually started that page. Shout out to Dan, he's my good buddy as well. So we actually saw this together when it was in the grey form. So now I've got the actual toy, which I've not opened up. Let's get this bad boy opened and have a look and see how it differs from previous Laurels, of which I have none here, I don't think. No, I might have a B25 one. I have none here in China at present. Oh, where's my knife? There's more tape. There's more tape. Let me just quickly grab my knife and come back. Okay, I've got my trusty and very old but still sharp blue knife. One thing to note, this doesn't have like a shipper box like the old Laurels. It did come in a box saying Revenant Laurel, but that also came with inside. Jessie just fell out of a plastic bag, haven't opened it yet. And also the Celine Raider. So it wasn't a box specifically for the Laurel, since the boxes were typically, or previously I should say, exact size only for what went in them. So it'd be exact size only for a Laurel inside its packaging, like this one here. So that is something new. So I'm debating whether I should keep that box or throw it. I might just throw the other box because it's not the same, you know. It's more like, I guess, a posting box. I just call it. What's the difference between a shipping box and a posting box? Maybe I'm talking nonsense. But the previous ones came in a different box, which then was packed in something else and shipped. So this one didn't. Okay, so different on the back. It tells us Laurel, submachine gun, blade shield ×2, machine gun magazine ×4, submachine gun ×1. No figure, just the Laurel. But I do have the Celine Raider, which when I review her, probably not the next review, the one after that, I will stick her in and see what she looks like. I do have some other figures lying around here. Do I? Yeah, I have some others lying around here. Okay, so cut the tape. Let's get this open. And we don't have the foam anymore. We're onto this plastic packaging here. The box is not as deep as the previous boxes and maybe taller. So, okay. So we have at the bottom a double plastic inlay, rather like the new Joy Toy sort of sets. And they tape this at the bottom as well. Okay, that one should be off. And okay, here we go. I think that's all the tape off the bottom. Okay, so let's get that off. Oh, these are huge. These two huge shields here, really big. But now I'm wondering, but these shields were in there, but there's also this big plastic part sticking out here. There was nothing inside there, that was empty. So maybe there was supposed to be something here, or in the future they released something using the same packaging with something here, or maybe I'm missing something. No, I appear to have more stuff down there. Seems to be a bit extra packing space. So the two shields, let's have a look. Well, I can feel the weathering straight away. Very nice. These big handles. I'm trying to see if there's any articulation. Okay, there's articulation on this part here, which I'm assuming is just for the arm of the roll. That just folds in and out. Nothing else I can see that moves on there. So that appears to be a joint or not a joint. No, it's not a joint as far as I can tell. No, it is a joint. There we go, there we go. So also this part can move to here. I'm guessing, is that what, a barricade? No, it doesn't. Make it stuck there. Doesn't go any further than that. So does that fold out? Oh, I see. That's so clever. So this part comes out, and then this part should, there we go, fold out, and you get yourself a foot. So now you've got a barricade as well. Very, very nicely done. Okay, so those are the moving parts. Let me just move this one too, so it just gets what's the word? Just gets loosened, I should say. There we go. And then we got our instructions, which I will open and look at, even though I just worked that first part out by myself. I'm so clever. Okay. So it shows us about backpack. This is something new on the backpack I've not seen before. That's not new. That's not new. That appears to be new. I'll look at that in a minute. Okay, shield, it's showing me. Oh, yeah, oh, that's cool in a shield. You can store the machine gun, what do you call them? The ammo clips in here. Okay, so let's have a look at that. And a little bit disappointed because normally in the back there'd be a big picture or something. Well, that's how I remember. Let's undo the tape on the actual main attraction. And let's get a look at this bad boy. So, more accessories here are the so much unnecessary tape. Here are the magazines or clips, whatever they're called, for the machine gun. 4 rather large ones. Here we have the big gun. Whoa. And then there's a small gun for a figure. Very, very nice. And then here is the actual Laurel itself. Some people don't like the Laurels. They think they're a bit too stubby. I actually do like them. Now, this is part of the stealth team. It does say stealth team on there too. Let me look at the gun first. So, very nice. And the machine gun. Oh, look at that. You see, they even got, you see the bullet inside the clips. Very, very nice. And these only fit in one way. There's a wide section, so it should fit in that way, and the bullet should face forwards. So it should be, he says, like that, but I can't make it fit. You can't go this way, can it? No, it's got to be the right way. Okay, let me try that again. It's a very exact fit. There we go. Very tight. The gun is a little bit inked, but there's more weathering on the actual. You can see the faded on the clip, which is realistic. It almost feels like something should go into that little slot there. Okay, so the other clips should be able to stow. There we go. Behind the shield, really nice feature. So if you get both into one side, I'd imagine they'd be quite difficult to get them both out. Okay, nice looking gun, looks cool, great big chunky size. See, he's got a little notch in the back, so there should be a little hole in his hand. Yep, well that will fit into, so he holds it very securely. This gun we've seen before, Acid Rain. This is just a blank one. There is no weathering or painting on it. Okay, so the moral neck, moral neck. There we go. That's a new word. It's a moral neck, not a laurel mech. Okay, the laurel mech, far more chunky than previous laurels. Looks far more armored. There are some things the same, some things different. Now, bear in mind that this is the first Toys Alliance one, so it's not an Ori toy one. Quite rather stiff in his bending his biceps there. So, difference is feet are bigger. He just looks more wider and chunky. The back is different. I saw in instructions that these parts come up. These like vents, I guess. If it's the same as the old laurels, there we go. This part comes out when this part opens. There's a mechanism there. So if I push that in, this part comes in, and I pull this out, you see it comes out there, which is a nice feature. Little play value. Now if I look inside, okay, another difference. There's more paint apps inside, and there is no clipboard. On the other laurels inside, either here or the other side here, there was a tiny clipboard which most people didn't know about, and it's really hard to get unless you have some tweezers. So I had some tweezers ready here, but there's no clipboard in this. There's also more paintwork inside. Oh, that's interesting as well. Paintwork inside. If you look inside the, say, the hood, there's like a screen there, which is really cool. Though it's not a light up screen. It's nice to got a screen on the inside. Even if it's blank, that attention to detail is something that makes Acid Rain still number one in the 118. Such attention to detail. Very, very nice looking. The handles rotate in. Can you see here? These little handles here rotate in and out to help you put your figures in. And there's a little foot that comes down here. So you can actually stand it in more of a seated position if his legs are forwards. So almost like that. Doing. So another nice feature just to add to the articulation. Okay, let's close this up and let's have a look at the articulation and then how it holds his weapons. Compare them to a couple of figures, see if I've got any figures I can put inside that are nearby. Okay, so first of all, look at the paintwork. Very nice weathering. There's some decals saying caution, saying stealth team. Dark color scheme, you'd expect that being stealth. It's been inked quite heavily. It's got a depends where you feel, but it's a semi-rough feeling where it's been weathered. Nice looking. I think articulation is going to be great despite its size and chunkiness, and it's going to be great to balance because it's got these huge shoes. As long as the ankle joints are stiff, you're going to be good. So arms, easy. Very nice here. They feel a bit loose. There's also shoulder roll, which was missing on the previous one. There's only an inwards-outwards shoulder roll, but it makes all the difference in the up and down shoulder roll. Bicep, the previous laurels had phenomenal bicep. Has a bicep turn, and it should, because it goes from both joints. Look at that. I mean, I can't get that tight, you know. Fantastic on the bicep, means you can hold guns particularly well. One thing I will say, this very stiff bicep turn is a bit worrying. Articulated fingers were missing on the previous one. Here we have one joint, two joints, 1, 2, 3, 4 points of flexation in the fingers. And the thumbs, there are 3 included. So the 4 is including the actual base. Then we have like this. Is it 4? 1, no, sorry, 3 in the fingers and also 3 in the thumbs. So you've got great articulation there. Hands on the ball joint inside, so it's almost like a proper wrist. There is there a waist turn? There is a waist turn, and look at that. He can dip side to side and he can go forwards, backwards. That is awesome. I was not expecting that. Hips. Relatively far out. Not too bad. Forwards, not so great because the little part at the bottom gets in the way. Backwards, though, should be pretty much amazing, as far as you want. Double knee bend, but it's very chunky. Is it double or single? Let's have a look. Yeah, it's a double knee bend, but it's very chunky, so it only managed to get just over 90 degrees. I'm imagining that double. In fact, I'm going to say it's a single knee bend, actually, because I can't see the second part inside. Ankles. Okay, so the feet can turn. Tippy toe is pretty good, and that's nice and stiff, which I like. In fact, his toes should be articulated, or maybe they're not. It appears that we are missing toe articulation, which we had. Oh no, I'm telling a lie, it is there. Just that, whoa, that one leg was very stiff. Okay, toe articulation too, so fantastic tippy toe. The dorsal flexation, the Michael Jackson, it looks like it's going to be absolutely phenomenal, but maybe I'm wrong. It appears that the tongue of the foot does get in the way slightly, so it's not phenomenal. He can just about go a little bit forwards, but he'll balance. And his toes, his feet do have the side-to-side rock, which means he can get to some extreme poses. Okay, let's see how he holds his gun. My only concern is really the chunkiness of this front part of his body here is going to impede some of the articulation. So I'm going to put, as I said in the instructions, this gun inside so I don't lose it. It will fall down to the feet, but that's okay, it can stay down there. Now with the previous levels, it could be a bit tricky sometimes to fit your figures in, but this one I think might be a little bit easier. Okay, let's slot that gun into the hole. So the hole in his hand there, and the peg on the back. Let's slot that in there. This they've borrowed from a B25 and some other toy lines, and then he can he can hold that extremely well. I mean, ridiculously well. But the chunkiness, he gets to have like a two-hand, like the Marine Laurels had the two-hand grenade launchers. He would struggle a little bit of that because the chunkiness, even with the shoulder roll, the chunkiness of his body. Now the shoulder roll does help a lot, but even so, you can see he can't quite get his other hand across to hold this. But this is a single arm gun, so he's okay on that. Looks fantastic. Now, I'm looking on this gun and I can't see any pegs, possibly this one here if I can find where, that would attach it to his body. Let me take that gun, in fact I'll leave the gun in, I'll come back to that. Okay, let's look at his shield. So, looking at his arms, we can see, how is that going to attach to his arms? That seems way too, oh no, tell a lie, very easy. Very easy, he can attach that. In fact, he can attach both and still have his gun. Yeah, sort of a badass fight machine. Really armoured. Decent. Aha, I see. Now I've just seen something I didn't see before. If you look on his hands, there is a little small hole there, groove, and one here. This has small pegs inside, so I'm going to assume that they are supposed to go over and click onto the holes. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But let me see if I am right or wrong. Yeah, you can put it over, just squeeze together, and then it will stay. Nicely on his arm. Now, one thing you may have noticed is he's a little bit loose in the ball and his waist. So if it gets too heavy on one side, he might start dipping over. The other thing, I think, having the shields in the arm is not ideal for some things because he can't really put it in front of him unless he's doing this. But let me have a look. Can he do that? Let's get this one on. This one's not wanting to come on. Okay, there we go. 1, 2. Okay, let me see. Wow. Yeah, difficult to do that, and I knocked his shield so it comes a bit loose. Now he does have the handles he can hold here, and his big one he can hold here if need be as well. This is such a great mech. Now I want to find a way if there's any easy way for him to hold this up front other than holding that handle there. You could, I guess, in theory, bend his fingers down into the groove there, though I'm not sure that's what it's made for, but if it works, I'm not going to knock it. Now, something you may not know is years back, 4 years back maybe, they were thinking of releasing an alternative hand kit for the other Laurels, giving articulated fingers. But even though pictures were shown, it never got released, which was a shame because I think it would have done well. Okay, so yeah, you can. Very armored, very nice. Okay, so let me give you an idea of scale. You've seen Laurels before, you know that they're not the tallest of mechs. So if I take, who have I got handy who I've reviewed already? Okay, let me take Fortnite Leviathan. You can see that it scales very well with him. It's about 1.5 times his height. So that's pretty cool. Okay, can I fit a figure inside? What figures do I have available that I want to try and put inside? Let me see. I've got some acid rain ones, but not ones I want to put in. You know what? Let me try anyway. I will take mine because he's close by. My exclusive. This is blasphemy. Taking an Amangana Phantom Team member and put him inside an Argot's Stealth Team mech. So let me just take his gun out of his hand and see how easy this will be. Up and down. Bear in mind he's got soft goods, actually might make it difficult to take the upper gun out. From experience from the previous Laurels, it wasn't always easy to do this. And once you got a figure in, you're like, oh, he's in, I want to keep him in now because it was too difficult to put him to, you know, take him out and then put him back in and take him out. But that's why I think it'd be better if it came with a pilot. This pilot figure looks great. You stick him inside, he can stay inside. Whereas if you're using like figures like this, it's not the sort of figure you want to keep inside, you know. I think his soft goods won't get too much in the way, if I'm honest. Not need that. Okay, so he's quite happily in. Get his arms down. Sit, sit, sit. Oops. So he's mostly in. I haven't made him hold the handles because I didn't want to spend time doing that. And bear in mind, he's got soft goods, which sort of fling him out a bit more. He does add this spiky helmet. You know, he does fit actually rather well, all things considered. So it's actually easier to get figures into this Laurel than the previous one. The hard part would be getting the hands on the handles. That's why the handles move like this, so you can sort of position the figure in, and then you can make him hold the handles and so on. Very, very nice. I'll do another comparison. Now, I know people want me to compare mechs, but I'm going to save that until I get the new big Joy Toy one, and then I'll compare 2 Acid Rain and 2 Joy Toy mechs together. But I will do one more comparison, and it will be of Joy Toy with their crazy reload SUV. Ding! So the crazy reload SUV, I would say, is probably a touch taller from the top of the gun turret, but it's very, very close. Obviously, you know what, the Mech is almost as wide with those big shoulders as the crazy reload SUV. They would work really well together in a Dio scenario. Okay, let's take the shields off and let's put them into a downwards position, and let's see, do they join together? Maybe not. And there's one more thing to do actually after this, which I forgot about, which I need to show you guys as well. I'm not just show you, to show myself. Okay, you can put that there, and then the crazy SUV could run in and have a little jump. Very nice as well. They actually work really well together. The colouring's a bit different, but they do work because of the inking on the crazy reload SUV. Okay, and then what's the last one to show? That's it. Let's have him holding his shield in the combat shield manner. So let's take this rather nice gun out of his hands. How am I going to pose this? Let's have him hold like this. Having articulate fingers makes all the difference, especially when there's no groove on his handle to hold something. Let's see if these shoulders will help me now. Can you get this up? That wasn't too difficult, to be fair. That was quite easy, relatively speaking. He can just charge it and jam in that spiked shield into another mech or something. Very, very nice. Let's see. Look at that. Having big feet is a big advantage sometimes. Fantastic on the articulation. Great balance. Great looking mech. Chunky. The only thing is there's a little bit loose on the waist. And having this really large body that juts out in front here, this armored part, is going to make it difficult for some things for holding the 2 hands. But having these rolling shoulders is a huge, huge help. This is a great mech. I wish I could afford to buy another one, if I'm honest. But it's not just the fact of the money, it's the fact of the space. I'm running out of space and I have to ship some stuff out as soon as I can. Okay, let me get this into its position here. Great, great set. Highly recommended. I think this is one of the best releases. I think it's the best mech, I would say, by Acid Rainbow. This, the Corpse, or maybe the Airborne Laurel, but I think this one in terms of features and playability. Airborne because it's different with the thrusters that come off and the parachute, and the Corpse Laurel because the rusted and the sort of zombie figure. But this one is definitely my favourite, I think. There's so much thought gone into this. Fantastic toy, highly recommended. Sorry the review is like nearly half an hour long. Okay, this is Awesome Action Toys. I am signing out, so please like, share and subscribe. Check out my other videos. There are loads on the channel. I'll be back to do more reviews for you. Stay happy, keep collecting, stay safe, blah, 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 buy this mech. Bye-bye.